Welcome, everyone. Today, we begin an exciting journey into the fascinating world of ancient empires. This chapter, The Rise of Empires, helps us understand how powerful kingdoms grew, expanded, and shaped the history of India and beyond. In this lesson, we will explore great rulers, mighty armies, grand cities, and remarkable achievements of ancient civilizations. We will learn how empires became strong through administration, trade, culture, and warfare. Look at the magnificent forts, royal processions, and the famous lion capital shown here, symbols of power, courage, and unity in ancient India. These empires not only ruled vast lands but also influenced art, architecture, religion, and society for generations. By the end of this chapter, you will discover how empires changed the world and left behind a rich legacy that we still remember today. So, get ready to travel back in time and explore the glorious rise of empires. Before we begin our journey into history, let's take a quick look at what this exciting chapter will teach us. In this chapter, we will understand the meaning of an empire and learn how small kingdoms grew into powerful empires. We will explore the important role played by armies, trade, and strong rulers in expanding territories and building wealth. Next, we will study the rise of Magad, one of the most powerful kingdoms of ancient India. We will also learn about Alexander's invasion and how it influenced Indian history. Then, we move to the Great Maurya Empire, one of the largest empires in Indian history. We will discover the achievements of Emperor Ashoka, his rule, and how he spread the message of peace and dharma. Finally, we will explore life in ancient India, including culture, trade, cities, and the daily lives of people during those times. The timeline below shows the important events we will cover, from the rise of Magad in 600 BCE to the glory of the Mauryan Empire and life in ancient India. So, get ready for an amazing journey through history as we uncover the rise of empires. Now, let us explore one of the greatest cities of ancient India, Patliputra. Patliputra was the capital of the powerful Magad kingdom and later became the capital of the Maurya Empire. It was located near present-day Patna, on the banks of the Ganga and Son rivers. Because of its excellent location, the city became an important center for trade, administration, and culture. Founded by King Ajatashatru in the 5th century BCE, Patliputra grew into one of the largest and most advanced cities of ancient India. It served as the political, economic, and cultural heart of a vast empire. The city was famous for its strong fortifications. Huge wooden walls, watchtowers, gates, and deep moats protected the city from enemies. These defensive structures made Patliputra a very secure and powerful capital. Patliputra was also known for its busy markets. Traders sold textiles, spices, ivory, jewelry, pottery, and many other valuable goods. Trade routes connected the city with distant lands through rivers and roads. The grand palaces and audience halls displayed the wealth and power of the Mauryan rulers. The city had a well-organized administration with officers managing different departments of the empire. People from different regions and cultures lived and worked here, making Patliputra a vibrant and prosperous city. The Greek ambassador Megasthenes even described Patliputra as a magnificent city, greater in size and splendor than many cities of the West. Patliputra truly stands as a shining example of the greatness of ancient Indian civilization. Now let us understand an important question: what is an empire? An empire is a large territory ruled by one powerful emperor. It includes many kingdoms, regions, and cities that are controlled under one central authority. Smaller kingdoms accepted the emperor's rule and paid tribute in the form of gold, grain, animals, precious stones, and luxury goods. In return, the emperor provided protection, administration, and stability across the empire. The emperor was the supreme authority and controlled many important aspects of the empire such as the army, trade, taxes, administration, and laws. A strong and well-trained army helped protect the empire and expand its territories. Empires also had large palaces, fortified cities, and efficient officials who managed different regions. Taxes collected from various kingdoms helped maintain roads, armies, buildings, and public services. Trade was another important feature of empires. Control over trade routes increased wealth and connected distant lands through the exchange of goods and ideas. In ancient India, powerful rulers were given titles such as Samraj, Adhiraj, and Rajadhiraja, which meant supreme ruler or king of kings. Empires expanded for many reasons: to gain wealth, control resources, strengthen military power, and become famous rulers. As you can see in the map, many regions and kingdoms came together under one empire, creating strength, prosperity, and stability. Empires played a major role in shaping civilizations and left a lasting legacy in history. Let us now understand the idea of tributary states in an empire. Tributary states were smaller kingdoms that accepted the authority of a powerful emperor. Although local rulers remained in charge of their own internal matters, they recognized the emperor as the supreme ruler. These kingdoms paid tribute to the emperor as a symbol of loyalty and respect. The tribute included valuable items such as gold, grain, elephants, and precious goods. In return, the emperor provided protection, support, and stability to these kingdoms. This system helped maintain peace and strong relationships between the empire and smaller states. As shown here, local rulers would visit the emperor's court and present gifts and wealth as tribute. These offerings increased the prosperity and strength of the empire. Tributary states were important because they allowed empires to expand their influence without directly controlling every region. They also helped improve trade, administration, and political unity across vast territories. So, tributary kingdoms played a major role in maintaining peace, stability, and prosperity within the empire. Let us learn about the main features that made empires powerful and successful. First, empires had a strong army with trained soldiers, elephants, horses, and advanced weapons. This protected the empire and helped rulers expand their territories. Second, they had efficient administration. Officers collected taxes, maintained law and order, and managed different parts of the empire. Third, empires controlled and promoted trade. They protected trade routes, collected trade taxes, and increased wealth through business and commerce. Fourth, empires managed important resources like land, water, forests, and minerals. These resources supported agriculture, industries, and the army. Fifth, rulers encouraged art and education. They built temples, palaces, stupas, and centers of learning that enriched culture and knowledge. Sixth, empires developed roads and communication systems. Roads and bridges helped people, goods, and armies move quickly across the empire. Together, these features helped maintain peace, unity, prosperity, and progress. That is why strong empires became powerful and respected in history. Have you ever wondered why kings wanted to expand their kingdoms? There were many important reasons behind expansion. First, kings wanted fame and glory. By conquering new lands and building large empires, rulers became famous and were remembered for their victories and achievements. Second, expansion brought wealth. New territories provided gold, silver, jewels, valuable goods, and taxes that made kingdoms richer and more powerful. Third, kings wanted more resources. New lands offered fertile fields, forests, water, minerals, elephants, and skilled people that helped the empire grow and prosper. Fourth, expansion created a stronger military. With more land and resources, rulers could build bigger armies with better weapons, horses, elephants, and chariots. Fifth, kings wanted control over trade routes. Trade routes connected distant regions and brought wealth, new ideas, and cultural exchange. Controlling these routes strengthened the kingdom's economy and influence. As empires expanded, they gained peace, stability, prosperity, and respect. Expansion also helped unite different regions under one strong rule. In short, kings expanded their kingdoms to gain power, wealth, resources, and a lasting legacy in history. Trade played a very important role in the growth of ancient empires. It connected kingdoms, people, and cultures, making empires rich and prosperous. Trade increased the wealth of kingdoms by bringing gold, precious metals, and valuable goods. This wealth helped rulers build stronger economies and improve their kingdoms. Trade was also important for maintaining armies. The money earned through trade helped kings buy weapons, train soldiers, and protect their empires. India was connected to distant lands through both land and sea routes. Trade routes linked India with Persia, Arabia, Africa, China, Europe, and Southeast Asia. These connections helped spread culture, ideas, technology, and knowledge across regions. Many valuable goods were traded, including spices like pepper and cinnamon, fine textiles, precious gems, and beautiful handicrafts. Indian goods were famous in many parts of the world. Ports, markets, and ships became busy centers of trade and communication. As trade grew, kingdoms became stronger, wealthier, and more advanced. In short, trade acted like a bridge that brought wealth, strength, and progress to the empire. Trade routes were very important in ancient India. They connected people, goods, ideas, and cultures across different regions and countries. There were two major trade routes in ancient India, the Uttar Patha and the Dakshin Patha. The Uttar Patha was the northern route. It connected India with Central Asia, Persia, and even China. This route passed through important cities like Taxila and Patliputra, which became major centers of trade and learning. The Dakshin Patha was the southern route. It connected the Deccan and South India with northern India and overseas markets. Important cities like Ujjain and Madurai grew as busy trade centers along this route. Trade routes were used by merchants traveling with caravans, carts, and ships. Through these routes, many valuable goods were exchanged, such as spices, textiles, gems, and handicrafts. Sea routes across the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal connected India with distant lands and helped increase trade and cultural exchange. These trade routes not only increased wealth but also helped spread ideas, technology, religion, and culture across civilizations. In short, trade routes built connections, and these connections helped civilizations grow stronger and more advanced. Let us now learn about guilds, also known as shrenis, in ancient India. Guilds were associations of traders and craftsmen. People with the same occupation came together to form groups called guilds. Guild members shared tools, skills, resources, and business knowledge. They also made their own rules and worked together for the welfare of all members. Guilds encouraged honesty, quality work, fair trade, and cooperation among people. They helped members during difficult times and protected their interests. There were many types of guilds in ancient India. Trader guilds managed goods like spices, cloth, and metals. Weavers produced fine textiles and cloth. Metalworkers made tools, weapons, and ornaments, while stone carvers created temples, idols, and sculptures. Guilds worked in an organized way. Members met regularly, solved problems, collected funds, and settled disputes through their leaders. Guilds played an important role in strengthening trade and the economy. They maintained quality standards, passed skills to future generations, and supported art, culture, and public welfare. In short, guilds were the pillars of trade, craftsmanship, and cooperation in ancient India. Let us now understand why Magad became one of the most powerful kingdoms of ancient India. Magad had many natural advantages that helped it grow strong and prosperous. First, the fertile Ganga plains provided rich soil for agriculture. This helped farmers grow plenty of food and support large populations. Second, Magad had abundant iron ore. Iron was used to make strong tools and weapons, giving Magad an advantage in farming and warfare. Third, dense forests around the region provided wood for buildings, chariots, and weapons. The forests also offered natural protection from enemies. Another important reason was strong agriculture. Fertile land, enough water, and good farming practices led to surplus food production and economic growth. Rivers like the Ganga, Son, and Champa played a major role in transport and trade. They allowed easy movement of goods, people, and ideas across the kingdom. The Ganga plains also provided natural protection, rich resources, and easy trade routes, which supported the rise of strong kingdoms like Magad. Because of these advantages, Magad became a powerful center of trade, agriculture, and military strength. Eventually, it grew into one of the greatest kingdoms in ancient Indian history. Iron played a very important role in the growth of ancient kingdoms. It strengthened farming, warfare, and the economy. Iron tools like plows, hoes, sickles, and spades made farming easier and more effective. Farmers could clear dense forests, cultivate more land, and grow larger amounts of food. As agricultural production increased, more people could be supported, and cities began to grow. Surplus food also helped kingdoms become wealthier and stronger. Iron was equally important in warfare. Weapons made of iron were sharper, stronger, and more durable than earlier weapons. Swords, spears, axes, and arrowheads gave soldiers an advantage in battle. With better weapons and tools, rulers could build powerful and disciplined armies. Strong armies protected kingdoms and helped expand territories. The use of iron transformed agriculture, strengthened armies, and helped kingdoms rise and grow into powerful empires. Let us now learn about the rise of the Nanda dynasty in Magad. The founder of the dynasty was Mahapadma Nanda. He expanded the kingdom of Magad and built a large and powerful army. The Nandas also issued punch-marked coins, which were used in trade and administration. Under Mahapadma Nanda, Magad became stronger and more prosperous. A powerful army and growing wealth helped the kingdom expand its influence. Later, Dhanananda became the ruler of the dynasty. Although he was very wealthy, he became unpopular among the people. Heavy taxation and harsh policies made the people unhappy. Many people felt oppressed under his rule, which weakened support for the Nanda dynasty. Even though the Nandas created a strong kingdom in Magad, their rule eventually declined because of public dissatisfaction and the rise of new leaders. The Nanda dynasty played an important role in preparing the foundation for the rise of the Maurya Empire. Let us now learn about the rise of the Nanda dynasty in Magad. The founder of the dynasty was Mahapadma Nanda. He expanded the kingdom of Magad and built a large and powerful army. The Nandas also issued punch-marked coins, which were used in trade and administration. Under Mahapadma Nanda, Magad became stronger and more prosperous. A powerful army and growing wealth helped the kingdom expand its influence. Later, Dhanananda became the ruler of the dynasty. Although he was very wealthy, he became unpopular among the people. Heavy taxation and harsh policies made the people unhappy. Many people felt oppressed under his rule, which weakened support for the Nanda dynasty. Even though the Nandas created a strong kingdom in Magad, their rule eventually declined because of public dissatisfaction and the rise of new leaders. The Nanda dynasty played an important role in preparing the foundation for the rise of the Maurya Empire. Let us now learn about the arrival of the Greeks in India through Alexander's invasion. Alexander the Great was the king of Macedonia and one of the most famous conquerors in history. He defeated the powerful Persian Empire and continued his journey towards northwest India. Alexander invaded the northwestern regions of India and eventually reached Punjab. His goal was to expand his empire and become a ruler of the known world. As shown in the map, Alexander traveled from Macedonia through Persia and entered India with his large army. His soldiers were highly trained and carried advanced weapons for warfare. Alexander's invasion introduced Greek influence into the Indian subcontinent. It increased contact between India and the Greek world through trade, culture, and ideas. Although Alexander could not advance deeper into India because his soldiers were tired and unwilling to continue, his invasion became an important event in ancient Indian history. It also created opportunities for new political changes, which later helped powerful kingdoms like the Maurya Empire rise. Let us now learn about the famous Battle of Porus between King Porus and Alexander the Great. This fierce battle was fought on the banks of the Jhelum River in Punjab. King Porus bravely fought against Alexander's powerful Macedonian army. Porus used elephants and skilled soldiers in the battle, showing great courage and determination. Even though Alexander had a strong and experienced army, Porus did not surrender easily. After a tough battle, Alexander won, but he was deeply impressed by the bravery and dignity of King Porus. According to history, when Alexander asked Porus how he wished to be treated, Porus proudly replied, "Treat me like a king." Alexander respected his courage and allowed Porus to continue ruling his kingdom. The Battle of Porus became famous because it showed that courage and self-respect can earn even an enemy's admiration. This event remains an important chapter in ancient Indian history, remembered for the bravery of King Porus. During Alexander's journey into India, he met wise Indian philosophers known as the Gymnosophists. The word gymnosophists was used by Greek writers to describe Indian sages and thinkers who lived simple lives and devoted themselves to wisdom and knowledge. These philosophers were respected for their deep understanding of life, nature, and the universe. They spent their time discussing ideas about truth, self-control, peace, and spiritual learning. Alexander was greatly impressed by their wisdom and intelligence. He even held discussions with them to learn about Indian philosophy and ways of thinking. The Gymnosophists showed that ancient India was not only known for powerful kingdoms and armies, but also for its rich traditions of knowledge and philosophy. Their teachings and ideas became an important part of India's cultural and intellectual heritage. Let us now learn about the rise of the powerful Maurya Empire. The founder of the Maurya Empire was Chandragupta Maurya. With the guidance and support of the wise teacher Chanakya, he established the Maurya Empire in 321 BCE. Chandragupta defeated the Nanda rulers and brought Magad under his control. He then expanded his empire greatly, creating one of the largest empires in ancient Indian history. The capital of the Maurya Empire was Patliputra, an important center of administration, trade, and culture. Its strong fortifications and strategic location made it a powerful capital city. Under Chandragupta's leadership, the empire became united, organized, and strong. A powerful army and efficient administration helped maintain peace and stability across the kingdom. the Maurya Empire marked the beginning of a new era of unity, strength, and prosperity in India. It later became one of the greatest empires in Indian history. Kautilya was the advisor and teacher of Chandragupta Maurya. He played an important role in helping Chandragupta establish the Maurya Empire. He was also a famous teacher at Taxila, an important center of learning in ancient India. Kautilya was known for his intelligence, political wisdom, and strategic thinking. He wrote a famous book called Arthashastra. This book explained ideas about governance, administration, economics, diplomacy, military strategy, and statecraft. The Arthashastra is considered one of the earliest and most important texts on political science and administration. Kautilya believed in strong leadership, efficient administration, economic prosperity, and careful planning. He also emphasized the importance of diplomacy, intelligence systems, and spies to protect the kingdom. Through his wisdom and guidance, Kautilya helped lay the foundation of a strong, united, and well-organized Maurya Empire. His ideas and teachings continue to be respected and studied even today. The Arthashastra is one of the earliest and most important books on political science, administration, and governance in ancient India. In this book, Kautilya explained how a kingdom should be ruled effectively. It covered many important topics such as administration, warfare, economy, law, and governance. The Arthashastra taught rulers how to maintain a strong army, manage finances, collect taxes, and protect the kingdom. It also discussed diplomacy, intelligence systems, and strategies for maintaining peace and stability. Kautilya believed that the happiness and welfare of the people were very important for a successful kingdom. As he said, "In the happiness of the subjects lies the king's happiness." The Arthashastra became a valuable guide for rulers and administrators. Its ideas on leadership, management, and statecraft are still studied and respected today. This great work shows the advanced political thinking and administrative knowledge of ancient India. According to Kautilya, a strong kingdom is made up of 7 important parts, also called the 7 limbs of the state. He believed that a kingdom functions successfully only when all these parts work together in harmony. The first part is the king, who leads and protects the kingdom. The second is the ministers, who advise the king and help in administration. The third part is the territory, which includes the land, people, and resources of the kingdom. The fourth is forts, which protect the kingdom from enemies. The fifth part is the treasury, which provides wealth and resources for running the kingdom. The sixth is the army, which defends the kingdom and maintains security. The seventh part is allies, or friendly kingdoms that provide support during difficult times. Kautilya explained that if any one of these 7 parts becomes weak, the kingdom also becomes weak. But when all 7 elements are strong and united, the kingdom becomes stable, prosperous, and powerful. This theory shows the advanced political and administrative thinking of ancient India. Kautilya believed that the welfare of the people was the most important duty of a king. He said that happy and prosperous people make a kingdom strong and stable. The king should ensure food, health, education, peace, and prosperity for all. Kautilya also emphasized the need for strong administration. Efficient ministers and officials were necessary for proper planning, record-keeping, communication, and maintaining law and order. Another important idea was punishment for corruption. Kautilya believed that corruption weakens a kingdom. Dishonest officials should be punished strictly, while honesty and integrity should always be rewarded. He also believed that villages should be protected because villages form the foundation of the kingdom. Strong forts, good infrastructure, and security helped people live safely and peacefully. Kautilya's famous quote says, In the happiness of his subjects lies the king's happiness. His ideas show that a successful kingdom depends on wise leadership, fair administration, and the welfare of the people. These principles of good governance continue to inspire people even today. Ashoka was the grandson of Chandragupta Maurya and an important ruler of the Maurya dynasty. He greatly expanded the Maurya Empire, making it one of the largest empires in ancient India. Ashoka was not only known for his power and military strength but also for his message of peace and dharma. After witnessing the suffering caused by wars, he chose the path of righteousness, compassion, and non-violence. He worked for the welfare of all people, including the poor, the sick, and even animals. Ashoka promoted kindness, tolerance, and respect for all religions. To spread his teachings, he inscribed messages on pillars and rocks across the empire. These inscriptions taught people about moral values, peace, and good conduct. The famous Ashoka pillar at Sarnath became a symbol of courage, pride, and righteous rule. The Ashoka Chakra, which represents law and righteousness, is also an important symbol of India today. Ashoka believed that a ruler should care for the happiness and welfare of the people. As he said, "All men are my children." Because of his peaceful policies and compassionate rule, Ashoka is remembered as Ashoka the Great. Let us now learn about the famous Kalinga War, one of the most important events in Emperor Ashoka's life. The war was fought between the Maurya Empire and the Kingdom of Kalinga. It was a violent and destructive battle that caused massive loss of life and suffering. According to historical records, more than 1 lakh people were killed, many were injured, and thousands lost their homes. Entire cities and villages were destroyed during the war. Although Ashoka won the battle, he was deeply saddened by the pain, death, and destruction he saw around him. The horrors of the Kalinga War changed his heart completely. Ashoka realized that true victory does not come from violence and conquest, but from peace, kindness, and self-control. This became the turning point in his life. After the war, Ashoka gave up violence and adopted Buddhism. He began following the path of dharma, non-violence, compassion, and peace. Ashoka spread the teachings of Buddhism throughout his empire and encouraged people to live with kindness, tolerance, and harmony. He believed in what he called conquest by dharma, meaning winning people's hearts through goodness and moral values. The Kalinga War transformed Ashoka from a conqueror into a ruler remembered for peace and humanity. That is why this event is considered one of the greatest turning points in world history. After the Kalinga War, Emperor Ashoka wanted to spread the message of dharma, peace, and compassion throughout his empire. To do this, he inscribed important messages on rocks and pillars placed across different regions. These inscriptions are known as Ashoka's edicts. They were written in the Prakrit language, which was commonly spoken by the people, and inscribed using the Brahmi script. Through these edicts, Ashoka taught people about moral values and good conduct. He encouraged everyone to follow dharma, which meant righteousness, truth, duty, and moral living. Ashoka's messages also promoted peace and harmony among people. He advised people to respect all religions and live together peacefully. Another important idea in the edicts was fairness and justice. Ashoka believed that all people should be treated equally and fairly. He also encouraged kindness and compassion toward all living beings. His teachings included helping the poor, caring for animals, and protecting nature. The edicts of Ashoka were not just royal orders, they were messages for the welfare and guidance of the people. Even today, Ashoka's edicts remind us of the importance of peace, morality, fairness, and humanity. Dharma is the path of righteousness that guides our thoughts, words, and actions. It teaches people to live with truth, morality, kindness, and responsibility. One important meaning of dharma is moral duty. It means doing what is right and fulfilling our responsibilities honestly. Dharma also stands for truth. A person should be honest in thought, speech, and action. Another important part of dharma is ethics. It teaches us to follow good moral values and principles in life. Dharma encourages right conduct. People should act with integrity, self-control, discipline, and respect for others. It also promotes harmony. Dharma teaches us to live peacefully with ourselves, with society, and with nature. The teachings of Dharma bring peace, justice, and well-being to all people. They help create kindness, understanding, and unity in society. Dharma is not just a religious idea. It is a way of living that leads to happiness, peace, and a better world for everyone. As the ancient saying goes, Dharma protects those who protect Dharma. Emperor Ashoka was not only a powerful ruler, but also a king who cared deeply for the welfare of his people and all living beings. After the Kalinga War, Ashoka followed the path of dharma, peace, kindness, and compassion. He introduced many welfare measures to improve the lives of people across his empire. Ashoka built roads and wells to connect cities and villages. These roads made travel easier, while wells provided water for both people and animals. He also planted thousands of trees along roadsides. The trees gave shade, fruits, and cleaner surroundings for travelers. Ashoka built rest houses and shelters where merchants, travelers, and royal messengers could rest safely during long journeys. He showed great compassion toward animals. Ashoka banned unnecessary killing of animals and protected birds and wildlife. Ashoka also spread Buddhism to other countries. He sent monks, scholars, and even members of his family to spread the teachings of Lord Buddha and the message of peace and harmony. Buddhism spread to places like Sri Lanka, Central Asia, and Southeast Asia, where its teachings are still respected today. Ashoka believed that a ruler's duty was to care for the happiness and welfare of all people. His rule became a symbol of peace, compassion, justice, and good governance. Ashoka's welfare works and message of dharma helped create a better and more peaceful world for everyone. After the glorious reign of Emperor Ashoka, the mighty Maurya Empire slowly began to weaken and finally came to an end. One major reason for the decline was the rise of weak successors after Ashoka. The rulers who came after him were not strong enough to manage such a large empire. Disputes among ministers increased, the army became weaker, and administration started failing. Another reason was that many kingdoms became independent. Provincial governors and local rulers stopped obeying the central government and declared their freedom. As a result, the Maurya Empire broke into smaller kingdoms. Trade and communication also declined. Economic problems weakened the empire further and reduced its power. Foreign invasions and internal rebellions created even more difficulties. The unity of the empire slowly disappeared, and central authority became weak. Around 185 BCE, the Maurya Empire finally declined completely. This marked the end of one of the greatest empires in ancient Indian history. Even though the empire ended, the Mauryas left behind an important legacy. They united large parts of India, improved administration, promoted trade, and spread the message of peace and dharma through Ashoka. The decline of the Maurya Empire also marked the beginning of a new period in Indian history, where many regional kingdoms and new powers emerged. The Maurya Empire may have fallen, but its achievements and contributions continue to inspire history even today. Life during the Mauryan period was organized, prosperous, and full of activity. the Maurya Empire was not only powerful in administration and warfare, but also advanced in the daily life of its people. The cities during this time were well planned. They had wide roads, strong gates, drainage systems, public buildings, markets, and gardens. People from different occupations lived together peacefully in busy urban centers. Trade played an important role in the Mauryan economy. Merchants traded spices, silk, textiles, gems, and metals within India and with foreign lands. Bullock carts, caravans, river boats, and trade routes helped goods move across the empire. Agriculture was the backbone of society. Farmers used oxen, plows, and iron tools to grow crops like rice, wheat, barley, pulses, sugarcane, and cotton. Fertile land and irrigation systems helped increase food production. Artisans and craftsmen were highly skilled. Potters, blacksmiths, carpenters, weavers, and goldsmiths created beautiful handicrafts, tools, pottery, jewelry, and textiles. Markets were always active with trade and business. Most people lived in wooden houses with courtyards and sloping roofs. Families often lived together in joint families and enjoyed a simple but comfortable lifestyle close to nature. Communication across the empire was also very efficient. Couriers and messengers traveled quickly on horses and by foot to carry important messages between cities and villages. This helped maintain administration, trade, and security throughout the empire. The Mauryan period was a time of prosperity, peace, hard work, culture, and unity. It was a strong and well-organized civilization built on the strength of its people. Mauryan art reached great heights during the rule of Emperor Ashoka. One of the most famous examples of Mauryan art is the Sarnath Lion Capital. The lion capital was built on top of Ashoka's pillar at Sarnath, the place where Lord Buddha gave his first sermon. It features 4 majestic lions standing back to back. These lions symbolize power, courage, confidence, and pride. Below the lions is the Dharmachakra, also known as the Wheel of Dharma. It represents truth, righteousness, and the path of Dharma. The sculpture also includes animals like the elephant, horse, bull, and lion, which are connected to Buddhist teachings and the journey of life. The Sarnath Lion Capital is considered a masterpiece of Mauryan art because of its smooth finish, detailed carving, and fine craftsmanship. It became a symbol of both royal authority and Buddhism during Ashoka's time. Today, the Sarnath Lion Capital is the national emblem of India. The Ashoka Chakra from this sculpture is also placed at the center of the Indian national flag. This beautiful work of art reminds us of India's rich cultural heritage, peace, and the message of Dharma. Thank you for joining this journey through the glorious Mauryan Empire. From Chandragupta Maurya and Chanakya's vision to Ashoka's message of peace and Dharma, the Mauryan period shaped the history and culture of ancient India. We explored powerful kingdoms, trade routes, art, administration, Buddhism, and the daily life of people during this great empire. The Mauryas taught the world the importance of unity, wisdom, good governance, and compassion. Thank you for watching. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep discovering the wonders of history. See you in the next lesson.